Today we're going to have a special service of healing, which is going to begin in a momentarily. It's going to be led by Reverend Dick Dingus. Dick has served his entire life reaching out to people and helping them in ministries. We are honored that he is a pastor here at the Fellowship of the Inner Light Church. He is a hospice chaplain with Heartland. Yesterday, I had the privilege of having Dick come into our funeral home as he was performing a service for one of our families. The care, the love just shined from him and helped these people through this very difficult time. I can't think of anyone better to lead our healing service than the Reverend Dick Dingus. Dick, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
I wonder what people expect out of a healing service. And I think that most people think that we're going to experience physical healing. But today I'd like to go deeper than that. Today's service, I would like to be an exercise in oneness. And the part of the healing that would take place is a feeling of separateness and being alone, to being together in the oneness of love. We seem separate from one another. That's how we look at one another with our conscious minds. We appear as individuals, and of course that's what we have chosen. According to such research as done by Dr. Michael Newton, we chose to leave the source where all is conscious oneness so that we could experience separation on earth. But being separate is only an illusion. And if we could plumb the depths of the subconscious, of the unconscious, we will find that we are one. Persons who have had near-death experiences tell us this is true. For example, this description of oneness was given anonymously in this month's near-death experience from the International Association for Near-Death Studies. A man died, and this is what he reports. I found myself enveloped in complete blackness. I had no bodily form, yet I was somewhere unearthly with no gravity. And although it was darkness, or I was sightless, I sensed I was surrounded by and part of this exquisite and pure energy of everything. I mean, everything. And we were all swirling in love. My next thought came as a sudden surprise. Hey, I'm still me, but I'm a thought. While at the same time I sensed I was also part of everything, and everything that made up the utterly peaceful and loving blackness was part of me, and it was absolute bliss. I couldn't hear anything like others' thoughts or voices, but I was still thinking as who I am. And while in this state or realm or ethereal plane, I felt I was still very much alive, but as energy, with it all in this glorious, loving blackness. I sensed I was one with all the universes, galaxies and planets, and life on Earth. All things seen and unseen, breathing or still, atoms to molecules to quarks and beyond, and it was infinite and pure. I don't think there are words in any language that could adequately describe it. The only thing I've been able to come up with is orgasmic consciousness. Wherever I was, I knew my own separateness and, at that same time, my oneness with everything, and the greatest sensation of love in and of all of it, and me. I don't know who had this near-death experience, but Andy Petro who was one of our speakers many years ago at Virginia Beach Friends of Zion, reported the same separateness and oneness experience. I have developed this presentation because I felt led that we need healing toward an awareness and a feeling of oneness. Because as you know, our experience of being separate is often burdensome. It's heavy and it's lonely. Some people might despair of life because of the loneliness that they feel. And we came to earth knowing this. Our guides may have told us when we chose a life path that it would be more difficult than we expected. They may have asked us, "Is that what you really want to do?" They may have said, "Perhaps what you need is a vacation from the rigors of soul growth." But we chose to come here anyway. A healing service provides the opportunity for us to become more aware of our connection with one another and with all around us. If we could see our environment with our spiritual eyes, as near-death experiencers report, we would see that we are all connected to each other and to Source. Dave Bennett, who sometimes attends and is part of the board for Virginia Beach Friends of Zion, could testify to the truth of this because that's what he saw in his near-death experience. Everything was connected by filaments of light. Our healing service today provides the opportunity for us to review these concepts in an effort to become more conscious, to bring into consciousness what is presently in the subconscious. In other words, to somewhat remove the veil so we can see the realities of the spiritual realm. And we can do this by, first of all, quieting ourselves and by opening ourselves to greater realities. We can feel for the inner light that connects us. And here's the logic of that. Our Creator is the love light. That's the best description of God that we have, the love light. And we are children of the love light. We inherited our creative ability from the Creator. And as the Creator said, "Let there be light," and there was light, we can say, "Let my light shine." We can, with intention, send the energy of the love light to others, and we can receive the energy of the love light from them. Today, we sang the great invocation. When you review the great invocation, see the focus on love and light. Isn't that interesting? It's been there all along. We have additional information about healing, and it's in our inspirational reading today. And Angela is going to read it for us.
Good morning, everyone. This is from The X Factor in Healing by Paul Solomon. Because the healing process is a process of love, it is important that you fall in love with yourself. Forget what you have been taught about conceit and self-centeredness. We are talking about self-appreciation. We are talking about self-appreciation. To appreciate and love yourself, it is probably helpful to love every organ of your body. That requires that you get to know all your organs intimately. You have a consciousness that is involved in cell building. The process is unconscious, but the consciousness that fulfills that process lives within you. That unconscious process is influenced by the stresses of life, and it uses them in building cells. That is how disease occurs. If you can change what is occurring in your life, you can change what is used to build your new cells. This may be the most effective technique of healing in existence. The patient's conscious participation in the function of the organs and glands and the building of cells in his or her body. This is the ultimate responsibility, participation in the renewing of your own body. Thank you.
I'd like us to engage in an exercise of this. And so I ask you to quiet yourself. You may close your eyes if you wish, whatever would be helpful, and picture yourself as a soul with a physical body. Your soul, you, are a ball of energy, larger than your physical body. Your being and energy extend beyond your body. Some people see this as your aura. We can extend this energy without limits. We can just direct it with our minds. To whom would you extend your love light? Whom would you embrace? From whom would you receive? Picture that person or those persons. Send them your love light energy. Let's also practice with the person seated around you or next to you. If you wish, make eye contact and tacitly agree that you will send and receive with each other. There is a heavenly conjoining of spirits when people agree. On earth, we can't occupy the same space at the same time, but in heaven, it can be done, and is done frequently, and that's when you really get to know someone. But you can reach toward that greater reality in this moment. I'd like you to picture the person next to you. Whether you're looking into that person's eyes or you have your eyes closed and just envisioning that person. Visualize a loop of energy that connects you. It's the God energy within you, the inner light, the inner love. Establish a link. Feel for the connection. Rest in this feeling of oneness. Talk to the other person. Rejoice in the joy of knowing this person, of loving this person, of being loved by this person. Thank you. Next, I'd like you to picture everyone here connected in spirit, giving and receiving the love light energy. We are together in the oneness. And the goal is to carry this feeling of oneness beyond us, beyond this moment. And this will give energy to our experience of life on earth, in our daily lives tomorrow and this week and after that. Our souls will be more conscious that we are one, that we carry within us the light and love of everyone else who's present today. Thank you for sharing in this experience with me today. You may want a deeper experience of sending and receiving the love light of healing energy. So today we have arranged that healers will stand behind chairs and welcome those who wish to receive. The physical touch, with permission of course, increases the influence of intention. If you would be a healer, writes Paul Solomon, you must begin where the world begins, that you would lift the burden of the one who is down and take that responsibility for his care, doing then those things that the world would do. So you have begun. Then, being the child of God, you would go the second mile. Then where is the second mile? Even so, as you pray each day in the morning, do you not pray the words, as I have health, so I would give unto thee? And how would you give of your health to another? Would you not use your health in service to that one? Is this not the giving of the health to another? Then understand those teachings of your Master, for what he would teach you to be that. In such ways, healing then will begin. In a moment, I'm going to ask the healers to come forward and to introduce themselves and tell their modality of healing, and then we'll arrange some chairs for persons to come and sit. But I want you to know that we're filming this service and plan to put the service on YouTube. So if you do wish to come forward and sit in a chair and you don't wish to be on YouTube, just let me know, and Sarah will edit out that portion of the video. Also, I'd like you to remember that our healers are the givers, but you can also reciprocate. You can give them back your love as they are giving you their love. And I'm reminded of the wonderful statement, the healthiest people on earth are those who give and receive love freely. The intention and goal for today's service is for us to be renewed in the awareness that we all share the oneness of love, and for this awareness to be healing to our souls. And now I'd invite the healers to come forward and to introduce themselves and tell something of their modality. Who will do? Who will be first? Francis.
The method of healing that I use actually came to me spontaneously without any bidding during a meditation years ago. And we were sitting in a circle. The person that wanted to be healed would go into the center. And as I was sitting there sending them energy, it occurred to me, that's the magic words, it occurred to me that if I put my hands like this, that I could visualize better the energy going to them. When I did that, my arms got tired, and so I learned there just by fiddling around a little bit that I could park my arms in neutral. And they started then feeling like they wanted to move. And so I said, well, we're meditating, God is in charge, and so I'm going to let this happen. And my hands started moving like this. And it was unique for each person, and it changed as the healing went on for each particular person. And so I've trusted that. Over the years, when I have used it, people have had some very interesting experiences, both physical and emotional, energy changes, etc. And so I trust that process. And it looks funny to see your arms moving around, and I just don't pay attention to that. I just try to get my ego out of the way and say, okay, this is just being a channel. I will mention one thing, too, about Edgar Casey's comment about healing in a service like this, that the role of most of the people here who are not participating up here is to send energy to the healers, not to the person to be healed. Because it's like a battery with all those cells of energy coming to us here. It intensifies what we're doing, and then we're channeling all that at once. And Casey said that's actually the way the Great Pyramid was built, with many, many people meditating and sending energy to one person who was able to then levitate those huge blocks and just with a finger push them into place. So I would invite you to consider that as a way of understanding the power of healing that comes from the collective.
I'm Sarah, and I've learned healing through the fellowship, through the years of studying with Paul, and then being part of the prayer group. And I feel that prayer is a strong part of healing, and then to allow the hands to move, similar to what Francis was talking about. And I find myself doing that more and more. A lot of times it's when I'm singing, and when I'm leading the Seven Terrace meditation, I just feel a lot of energy, and I allow it to flow out to wherever it's needed.
My first memory of healing was in the Atlantis, in the healing and rejuvenation centers, and evidently I worked my way up from a young child to eventually teaching the new healers. And I was told that I came into this lifetime with what they call a very fine veil. And so as a very young child, I had a lot of memory of healing things, healing people, healing situations. And then at 30, I was lucky enough to be introduced to Jose Silva of the Silva Mind Control Method. And he had been all over the world studying laying on hands and faith healers. And he took the best of each, and he put it into techniques, and he put those into the coursework, and he taught many advanced healing programs. So over the 40 years I was with him, I just continued to develop, and I guess that's about it. It's just a natural. I'm just a natural. Thank you.
You may have come here today without the intention of being a healer, but we've talked about being a healer. And I wonder if you'd like to try to extend your healing love today. If so, you can come forward and be part of the healing group.
I had no idea why I was coming here today. I have been trained I started out with Reiki. I started out working with a woman who had studied with Barbara Brennan for a couple of years. I learned that much of the work that we're doing is coming through, is being channeled. It's not necessarily being channeled verbally, but it's being channeled through our energies. And as part of a group of people learning about all kinds of things spiritually, mentally, emotionally, in a place called Interface in the Boston area, I studied with a lot of people, with shamans, with Brian Weiss. I mean, lots and lots of modalities. And so consequently, what I do is, I don't know what it is before I do it, but it's always fascinating and always loving.
Is there anyone else?
I don't claim to be a healer, but I've noticed when I or anyone else makes themselves available as instruments for the greater good, that's when things really begin to get interesting. So I've been told that some of my songs have affected people, but I've found that I do my best work when I get out of the way and just make myself available as an instrument. So that's what I'll be doing here today, and hoping as much as possible through the rest of my days until I die laughing.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, then we can move our chairs forward.
Is one of those Hebrew words that were given to us.
sit back and to see the energy that passes between the healer and the one being healed, and us sending energy to that healing is just an incredible experience to be part of. And I thank Dick for this beautiful service. I thank our healers, and I thank each of you for being here.